Good afternoon and welcome to Rotary. I will ask Larry Halsey to lead us in the anthem and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's all rise and face the flag and join the national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in them, came through the night, that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll ask President-elect Dana Broadway to bring us our invocation.
Please pray with me. We are thankful for this day that you've given us, for its blessings, its opportunities, and its challenges. May we appreciate and use each day that comes to us. We pray for strength and guidance for each day as it comes, for each day's duties, and for each day's problems. May we be challenged to give our best always. May we be assured of your presence with us. Thank you for our time here in fellowship at the Baylor Club. We pray for all of our athletes here at Baylor and across our community to be safe, healthy, and have a successful school year. Amen. You can be seated. Thank you so much. We have too many guests to call you out individually, so if you are a guest of Rotary, if you could stand up, we would love to welcome you.
So welcome to the 227th day of the year. On this day in 1945, after 6 years at war, Japan surrendered, marking the end of World War II. And also on this date in 1966, it was said, one of television's greatest contributions is that it brought murder back to the home where it belongs. And that was said by Alfred Hitchcock. Later in the program, we're going to have a special announcement, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime, I've called on John Morris, who is one of the best friends that Rotary has, and he's going to bring our special guest today.
Thank you very much. What an honor and a pleasure to be here with y'all today. It's always fun to come to the Baylor Club. We love that. It's fun to come and visit with Rotary. And I love this room. I'm not here much. Our booth is up on the 5th level, so I'm not on level 4 very often, but I love looking around. You know, these are pictures of game programs and bowl games for Baylor football. And we are running out of room, so we need to create more, because we're hopeful that there will be a bowl game every year for Baylor football, as there have been in recent years. I was just thinking, looking back, I've broadcast every game since the 91 Copper Bowl, and I've covered every game since the 79 Peach Bowl in Atlanta, so I know a lot of you were in that same boat, but really good memories to look around and think about the success of Baylor football specifically. How about the success of Baylor athletics? Nothing like it. We are in I think I can say the golden era of Baylor athletics. You know, there have been some good years, some good stretches of Baylor athletics, but you think about where we are now across the board, not just football, but basketball, men's and women's, every sport, where we are now, Baylor has never been at this level. Competing for conference championships, competing for national championships, and the best thing is doing it with integrity, you know, and doing it the right way. And that is in very large part due to our speaker today. And so let's bring him on up. Let's learn a little bit more about Baylor athletics, Baylor's athletic director, Mack Rhoades. Mack, come on. I think we're sharing a mic, okay? Or we can just talk loud. How about that?
This is history. History's being made today because I think this is the first time that John Morris has ever shared a mic. And
Okay. Let's make sense. So history is not being made.
we'll make this.
You take that one.
Okay.
All right. Appreciate you being here. So much to talk about. What's our deadline? We need to be out by 1. We've got to be out by 1. So we can handle that. First thing is, I heard you telling Jana and Dana and Rosemary at our table, I think Jana asked about a vacation. It's common knowledge around our office, when Mack goes on vacation, something big is going to happen. And it kind of happened that way again this year.
So it did. We are blessed. Well, first of all, let me say, like John mentioned, it is an honor and privilege to be with Rotary with all of you today. Thank you for the opportunity to be able to come and visit and give you just a little bit of insight into the athletics department and our student athletes. I'll say this: I'm blessed to work alongside the best people in college athletics. JMO John is certainly the best at his craft and what he does on a daily basis, and his love for Baylor athletics and for our student athletes, and certainly the rest of our staff, our coaches, our administrators. Jill Van Zee is here with me today. She's our chief of staff. She's the real boss. She really runs things behind the scenes, but it is a blessing to be just a small part of it. And again, thank you for the opportunity to be able to visit. So we're blessed. Amy and I, we have a place in New Mexico, in the mountains, at 8,200 feet. So it is a little bit cooler than in Waco. And we try to get there, you know, every summer for at least a week or two. And I kid you not, every time we go, all heck breaks loose. And our staff actually laughs about it because every time I get ready to go, well, what's going to happen? What's going to happen next? So the first time we went, I had just visited with Matt Rule, and we had talked about coaching opportunities, and he felt really strong about staying at Baylor, and you know, the Carolina Panthers weren't going to work out, and so 2 days in, at New Mexico, I get a call from Matt Rule, and he's leaving to the Carolina Panthers. So I think it was the following summer or 2 summers later, we're there, and I get a call from Scott Drew, and he says, "Hey, I just heard from somebody, Mack, that Texas and Oklahoma are leaving." I'm like, "Scott, what are you talking about?" I'm like, "That's not, no way." And literally an hour later, my phone starts blowing up. And so that happened last summer, or 2 summers ago, I guess it was. We were, maybe it was last summer, I can't even remember now, but adding the 4, we're going to call them the first 4, so nobody gets confused when we think about U12 membership. The first 4 that came in, dealing with that in a brand new commissioner, and then sure enough, this summer, asked my wife Amy, I was on the phone the entire time dealing with the second 4. So, and I think we landed in a really, really good place. If we would have scripted it, you know, a year ago, 18 months ago, we would have said, hey, we really want Colorado and Utah and both Arizona schools. I'm an Arizona alum, so that meant something special for me, and I know that program really, really well. But you know, that's the way we would have drawn it up, and it happened to play out that way. You know, a little bit of inside story. The night before, Thursday night, the commissioner and I, Brett and I are visiting. It's about 1:30 a.m. And he lets me know that he just got off the phone with Fox, and doesn't look like Oregon and Washington going to the Big Ten is going to work out. I just hear from Arizona that their board meeting did not go well, and they thought that, you know, the board would encourage Arizona State to go to the Big 12, and that, you know, they would be okay to leave, you know, to the Big 12. Arizona would be without Arizona State if that was the case, right? Untethered. Well, that completely flipped, and so we went to bed Thursday night not feeling really optimistic about where this was heading, and I think got a call at 6:15 a.m. from somebody that works with all of those institutions, and said, Mack, they're coming. Utah and Arizona and Arizona State are coming. I was like, no, wait a second. You don't understand. The Oregon Washington Big Ten fell through, and he said, no, Mack, you're the one that doesn't understand. That worked itself out this morning at about 6 a.m., about 15 minutes ago. And so the Pac-12 actually had a meeting scheduled at 7 a.m., all of the presidents of the Pac-12, and they were actually going to sign the document that said that they were going to move forward as a conference. And so obviously that meeting was canceled, and then I was on the phone with both Utah and Arizona. So it was a crazy about 12-hour period, and again, grateful for the way it worked out. But I will tell you, it was a sobering day, because it was great for Big 12 and the future. And of course, what's great for the Big 12 is also really healthy and good for Baylor. You know, my goal always in all of this is trying to put Baylor in a place where long after I leave here, that it's really in a secure place for years and years and years to come. And but it was a sobering day, because for Stanford, for California, for Oregon State, for Washington State, all four of those athletic directors are friends. They're good people. They do a great job. And so really tough for them. And so they're now trying to figure out what's next for them. And by the way, back up 2 years ago when Texas and Oklahoma left, that could have been us. Could very well have been Baylor. So certainly have a lot of humility and grateful and thankful that it worked out the way it did. So next summer, I'm not going to New Mexico. We're going to find another place.
If you do, let us know before you go, so we'll know something big is happening. Heck of a vacation. Go to bed at 1:30 and get up, awaken by call at 6 a.m. That's really restful. How about facilities? Man, we've got, I mean, look right outside this window. There's the Foster Pavilion going up. We're in McLean Stadium, which is great. The Herd Welcome Center is about to open, and it's just fabulous. We got some things going on facility-wise.
Yeah, no, we do. Again, we're really blessed at Baylor, and you know, I always start when I talk about the Foster Pavilion. I always begin with Paul and Alejandra Foster, and you know, Paul's an alum and graduated from our business school, and if you haven't met him, just one of the most humble and generous and thoughtful people that you could ever think of. And you know, Alejandra very quickly has developed a great, deep, sincere love for Baylor. But they really care about Baylor, and that gift that they gave, certainly a majority of it went to the pavilion, the arena, etc. But a quarter of it went to the academic side and a matching gift program, and we were able to go and secure some professor chairships, you know, because of his gifts. So he really, you know, impacted the entire university, and I certainly think he'll continue to do that. But we're excited about it. You know, why are we building something new? I probably need a better answer than because Paul Foster wanted to. No, when I first arrived in all the turmoil and chaos, there had already been a lot of conversation about redeveloping or renovating the Farrell Center and downsizing it. And that obviously was put on pause because of what the institution, what athletics was dealing with at the time. And so as we started to resurrect that conversation, we thought it was really best, well, hey, let's start with, is it worth renovating the Farrell Center? What's that cost like in terms of downsizing it, making it a basketball arena the way that we really need it to be, you know, in today's world and for competitive purposes. And so we did all of that analysis, and it came out really overwhelmingly that, you know, money was best spent if we could do something new. And so that's when we decided to pivot a little bit and do something new. And of course, we needed a significant gift, and Paul and Alejandro were gracious enough to do so. So the 7,500 capacity, we think that's the perfect size for Baylor. Just like McLean Stadium, this facility, they did an unbelievable job of designing this facility before I ever got here. And I think, you know, this facility, 45,000 seats, is the perfect size for us at Baylor as well. So trying to be really, really smart and make sure that we create a home court advantage, and something that where our fans are really right on top of the court, and you will see it is much different if you have the opportunity to walk in there and see the seating bowl versus Farrell Center. Farrell Center, you're very far away, the distance between you and the court, whereas in the pavilion, you're really, really right on top of it. So we're excited about it. We need to get the air conditioning in that building, and this is no joke, turned on in September. If we can do that, then that gives us enough time to install the floor, and the floor, Maplewood, needs to acclimate. And so if you don't have the air conditioning on, you cannot install the basketball floor. And if you can't install the basketball floor, we're not having a game in January of 2024. So September's a big month for us, but right now everything is going as planned. We don't foresee any issues in terms of turning on the air conditioning. Austin Commercial, the CM, the construction manager, has done a great job with the project. Our architects, AECOM's done an unbelievable job with the project. So we're hoping to play the first game there in early January of 2024. I'm not confident yet enough to give you a specific date. Need a little bit of wiggle room, but that's what we're hoping. There's also this north end of the facility is a development center for our men's and women's basketball programs, so practice courts, coaches' offices, team locker rooms, lounges, academic meeting rooms, film room, all of those things. And so that will open up, that portion of the building will open up probably late spring, early summer of 2024. So really, really cool project, and we think that that will be a facility that will serve our needs hopefully for the next 50 plus years, and what better setting than to put it on the so.
It's crazy to think, those of you who've been around a while, the Farrell Center is our oldest facility now. Well, think about that. It's still in good shape, and it's not going away. It's going to stay and be the home of volleyball and acrobatics and tumbling, probably graduations there. We've got another project that is still going, about a little less than a year away, the Fudge Football Development Center and the expansion of the Allison Indoor Facility. What will that allow football to do?
Yeah, so again, that starts with, again, the generosity and thoughtfulness of Jeremy and Christy Fudge, and kind of simpler story with Paul and Alejandro, but Jeremy is an alum, Christy is not. She is now an alum by, I guess we gave her a certificate and a document. I guess you get that, a big gift to the university, but they're wonderful people, and just again, very much believe in what we're doing as an athletic director, as an athletic department, how we pour into our student athletes and try to develop them and challenge them to stretch in all different ways. But that is a building. So when you think about football and facilities, we always think about this facility, McLean Stadium, and this is one of the best, if not the best, in the entire country. I would say this is in terms of just the amenities, the setting, all of those things. It is spectacular, and again, grateful to be able to have this building, this facility. But, and I know we're going to talk about it later, but we only use this for football 6 times, 7 times a year. Record this year, 8 times a year. And all of the rest of the time, we use our practice facilities, our everyday locker room and practice field and indoor over at the Simpson Center. And when you compare those everyday facilities to the rest of the Big 12, we were probably last, other than Kansas, in those facilities. And so there was a great need, if we're going to be relevant in football, and we need to be relevant because that's driving all of the revenues for all of our other sports, for conference revenues, TV revenues, etc. So for us to be relevant in football, we had to do something with our everyday facilities. And so the Fudge Football Center, I think it's 110,000 square feet, coaches' offices, position player meeting rooms, team meeting room, recruiting room, strength and conditioning, training, so all of the health and wellness amenities. And so that will be a really one-stop shop for football and our football student athletes. So I'm excited about that. And that should open up in probably mid to late summer of 2024. So right now, we have, just in terms of athletic facilities, about $312 million of athletic facilities under construction. So again, really blessed to be able to do that.
That's great. What about, this is a good group to anticipating a question you might have related to NIL. Give us an overview, very brief overview of NIL and sort of your and Baylor's philosophy with NIL.
Yeah, we're going to need to extend this to about 2 p.m. So, up until really 3 weeks ago, conference realignment now has since dominated the conversation a little bit. But it won't be long before name, image, and likeness gets its traction back and begins to dominate, because that was the topic of conversation up to about 3 weeks ago. Name, image, and likeness has turned our industry flipside, and it has been really, really interesting. It's probably a story of failed governance and leadership, to be really, really candid with you. There was a lot of work put into name, image, and likeness. We knew it was coming. I think, there was a plan in place, a way to really manage this, and for it to be really, really, I think, beneficial for our student athletes, and really doing it in a responsible manner within our industry. And unfortunately, because of threats of lawsuits as we were approaching the July 1, 2021 date, when we were going to launch name, image, and likeness nationally, the NCAA backed off with all of its guidelines and parameters, threats of antitrust lawsuits, all of that. And so it was helter-skelter from that day one, where just chaos. And so when I talk about chaos, right, we knew one thing, that the universities, we couldn't do anything or have anything to do with it we couldn't even assist in terms of name, image, and likeness opportunities or monies for our student athletes. We had to stay completely away from it. And so that even led to more confusion because, you know, donors, alums, all of those folks, right, all of our external constituents are, well, what's going on, right? And we really couldn't communicate. And so complete mess. And that has changed since then. We're now able to assist and to help. We still, as an institution, cannot provide any funds for name, image, and likeness for our student athletes. All of that has to come external. But it has become a recruiting war. And so, you know, the institutions that can provide, or not the institutions, but the external constituents working with the institutions that can provide the most name, image, and likeness money, they're the ones that are doing the very best in recruiting. And so it's been a hard space for everybody to deal with and to try to navigate and to figure out. And it's accelerated just the cheating that's going on in recruiting. You're not supposed to use name, image, and likeness as a inducement, incentive. And so I can't go and say to a prospect, come to Baylor. If you come to Baylor, we're going to provide you $250,000 in name, image, and likeness. Can't do that. Now, I would tell you that probably 3/4 of the schools out there, that's exactly what they're doing. And John mentioned that, you know, the word integrity. I promise you this, we're not doing that, and we won't do that. And it puts us at a great disadvantage because we're doing it the right way, and we'll continue to do it the right way. And so, you know, there's a part of me that says, God, you know, hopefully will show us some favor because we're doing it the right way. We also, you know, I think we have good strategy in place, and you know, Baylor is not for everybody, and so we're going to recruit the young women and young men that we think align with who we are as an institution. We certainly don't expect them, and we're not recruiting perfect young men or women, but people that want to come into this environment and grow and learn and stretch and know that there's something bigger and beyond just the athletics piece. So we're continuing to navigate that. I will tell you, because I've said it before publicly, Baylor will probably, our external group, GXG Exchange, a local not-for-profit that's helping us or that is really driving it for us, we'll probably need to do about $5 million total in name, image, and likeness opportunities for our student athletes. Most of that is football because of the numbers. So if you're going to do a name, image, and likeness opportunity for, you know, 80 football student athletes at $20,000 a piece, that's $1.6 million just right off the bat. And so men's basketball is where it's out of control nationally. It's where most of the cheating's going on. I'm really proud of Scott because it's hard. It's hard when you're competing against some of the other institutions in our own state that are not doing it the right way. And Scott and his staff have done a great job. We have to be in it, and we are providing those opportunities, but probably not at the level of some of those other institutions. And so we're finding and trying to find the right families and the right students. So it's I don't know what will happen in the future. Right now, there is some positive momentum for federal legislation. I think it's the only way that it gets fixed. We have 33 states that have different name, image, and likeness rules that govern those institutions. So nobody is on a level playing field. Everybody is doing it their own way. There's even some states, Texas one of them, that passed state laws governing name, image, and likeness that conflict with NCAA rules. And so that's a huge issue in itself. And You've heard me say publicly that, you know, we decided to be part of the NCAA, and part of that membership, they have rules, and I'll be really frank, some of those rules I don't care for, but as long as we decide, and we're a member of that organization, we're gonna follow those rules. And if we don't like them, then we need to find a way to change them. But as long as we're members of the NCAA, Baylor will follow those rules. And so, just a lot going on. But we do believe that there's this opportunity for federal legislation where they would come in and it would be one law, preempt all state laws, provide us some protections against antitrust lawsuits. And I've been blessed to be on a small working group within the NCAA to have input, so we'll see what happens. There's probably about 5 draft bills out there right now, one coming out of the House and 4 coming out of the Senate. Probably the most realistic one is Ted Cruz's draft bill, because it still provides some empowerment to the NCAA so that they would still have some control and wouldn't be just the federal government. So that's a long answer, but that's everything that we're trying to navigate. We have to do it. We have to be in it. We want to do it responsibly. You know, for our young people, like everybody right away says, hey, what a great thing for our young people. And this is not an exaggeration, but for a men's basketball player to receive $500,000 in name, image, and likeness. And yes, grateful that they have that opportunity, but you know, for the young people, they never managed that type of money. And unfortunately, we're in a business where they have a lot of people that are hanging on to them, that are trying to take money from them and all. So it has been a lot to navigate. And I can promise you this, we are working with our student athletes in terms of financial responsibility, in terms of contract responsibility, all of those things. And so we hope that we can garner some federal legislation and have at least a system of transparency and a system of accountability, because right now we have none. So,
wow. Proud we're doing it the right way. Mack would say NIL is name, image, and likeness. Others would say NIL stands for now it's legal. Because you like that? Yeah, I like that. It's good. Stay away from campus the next couple of days. It's move-in days on campus, Wednesday and Thursday. Classes start on Monday. We at Baylor Athletics are really proud that we have student athletes. You know, student comes first. Academically, it's been a great stretch, hasn't it?
it really has. I'm so proud of our student athletes, and I'm proud of our head coaches. I say this to our head coaches all the time. It will not matter to our student athletes if it doesn't matter to you. Our head coaches spend more time with our student athletes than anybody else within the athletic club. And so they really set the tone. And if academics are important, if going to class is important to our head coach, then our student athletes are going to go to class and they're going to do their very best that they can academically. So we had 297 academic champions this past semester. What is that? Those are student athletes that have graduated, student athletes with a 3.5 or above, and student athletes that do a personal best in terms of their GPA. And we implemented this personal best program. I think it's been about 4 years now. But you know, we were really good of providing accolades and congratulations and celebration, you know, of our student athletes that, you know, on the dean's list, 3.5 and above, and all of those things. But what about the student athletes? You know, not everybody's capable of a 3.5. Not everybody's capable of a 3.8. You know, we have student athletes that work really, really hard, but the best they do is a 2.8 or a 3.0. And so how do we reward them? How do we acknowledge that, hey, we really, really appreciate your hard work? And so we started this program in terms of personal best, and that we're going to acknowledge our student athletes that do a personal best in terms of GPA per semester. And our coaches have really embraced that. Our student athletes have embraced that. It's now just become a contest. And so we've got a group of young men and women that really, really work hard in terms of the classroom. And so of those 297 academic champions, 165 of those were because student athletes, they achieved their personal best. This was the 30th, I think I have that right, 30th consecutive semester where our student athletes collectively have had a 3.0 GPA or above. And that might not mean anything to folks in this room, but for someone that's been in this industry for 20 plus years, that benchmark of a 3.0 for a semester has kind of been the threshold in terms of success across the industry standard. And I would tell you that Baylor's probably in the top 3% when you think about it. 30 consecutive semesters at a 3.0 or above. This year, this past spring semester, it was 3.3. Collectively right now, overall, it sits at a 3.3. Colonel Riley, I see him looking at Colonel Riley started this and was a big part of this years ago, and all of his great efforts in our academic area in athletics, and still a legend within our athletic department. But our young people, I'm really proud of them and what they're doing in the classroom. So that's a big part of it. And again, I think our young people know and understand that there's life after athletics. So.
All right, final thought, and mentioned football. We're 18 days away from kickoff. 18 days away. It's a home game to start the season. First of 8 home games this year. Baylor has never had 8 home games in one season. That's some kind of schedule this year.
Yeah, it is. And I've said this, I'm not sure I should say this publicly, but I'm going to. But it could be really fun if we're winning, right? If something happens and we're not, man, who's the smart one that scheduled 8 home games? So, but we're excited about it. I think it's a great opportunity. You know, the month of September, all 4 games, are home games. And so, and when you think about, 2 of those 4 games against a highly ranked and nationally ranked Utah team that will be coming to town. By the way, I received some positive emails and responses to the conference realignment to the 4 schools that we added. And so, that was nice of those. But I did receive one email that wasn't so happy about it because we just ruined their trip in 2024 to Salt Lake City. So because now Utah becomes a member of the conference. But we get to host Utah in week 2, and then of course the last time we played Texas as a conference member on week 4. So it should be a great home schedule. Certainly, I'm hoping that the temperature drops a little bit by the time we kick off on September 2nd. Proud of Dave Aranda and just the way he leads our program. He leads our young man. He talks all the time. John's around it and talks about person over player, and better people make better players. And he really lives that out in terms of the way he leads it, the way his staff leads it. And this is a really close group of young men who've been around them for a little bit, during fall camp. And you can see that, Coach in his first 3 years, I think he has the 2nd best record in terms of the first 3 years as a head coach. And, I'm excited for the future of the program and how he's doing it. We added 3 new assistant coaches. I'll say a little bit about them, but Matt Pallage came back to us. He left us after the Sugar Bowl victory over Ole Miss and went to Oregon to be co-defensive coordinator. And I think it was a really good experience for him. It was probably a little bit of, the grass isn't always greener, and I think he would admit that in the way we do it at Baylor. And so he came back, and certainly the opportunity to be the defensive coordinator. And I know that, he's excited for that opportunity. Dave's excited for that opportunity. And if you're a young defensive coordinator, who better to work under than Dave or Randy? And so excited for his return. And then Christian Robinson, our linebackers coach, if you haven't met him, he never has a bad day. He always has a smile on his face, great energy, wonderful human being, really, really sharp, bright. I think, same with Matt, I can say this about Matt Pallage too, but those two individuals will be head coaches. They're just really sharp, bright, and have got great energy in the way their relational skills with players is really special. And then we added A.J. Stewart, the running backs coach from Oregon State. Again, a tremendous coach and human being. And by the way, all three of those individuals, they just don't, what's the word I'm looking for? They certainly respect our Christian mission, Christian values, but it's beyond that for them. They embrace it, and it's a part of their daily life, and you can just see that. And so it's good to have those three new coaches as part of the staff.
Very cool. All right, we need to say thank you again, and let me just, it's nice to have the opportunity to sing Mack's praises, because he won't do it, but his mantra to all of us is preparing champions for life, and everything we do in Baylor Athletics is aimed at that. And isn't that a great mission here at Baylor University, prepare champions for life? And Mack, you're our ringleader in that goal, and we just appreciate the culture you've put in place in Baylor Athletics. We appreciate your leadership, and just nice to be able to say thank you very much.
Thank you, and again, thank you for the opportunity. And in all of this, right, I'm the one that's blessed. This is a calling. This isn't a job for me; it's a calling. I get to wake up every morning and work with young people, and pour into them, and work with some unbelievably talented coaches and staff. And so I get to do that. So it's I'm the one that's blessed and grateful to work alongside great people like John Morris. So thank you all.
Thank you, Mack, for our program today. I believe this was your first visit to Waco Rotary Club, and we're a pretty tough group and have very few annual guests, but we want you on that list. So John will be calling next August and trying to arrange. We'll have a new meeting location at that time. John is just, thank you so much. He's a great friend of our Rotary Club, and he always comes through when we need a program, so we appreciate that. We appreciate all of our guests today. Thanks for attending. We hope that you'll come back sometime. If we intrigued you enough that you might want to become a Rotarian, we have some applications on the desk out there. I want to thank the Rotarians today who helped with putting the meeting on, recording the meeting today, and all of the setup. Before we close, we want to give a big thank you to the Baylor Club. Stepping away from meeting at the Lions Den for years was a great landing spot. Thanks to the staff who worked with us and provided a few miracles when we needed it. We appreciate your attention and service. Beginning next month, our meetings will be back on Mondays, the second and fourth Monday of the month. And our new home will be the Lee Lockwood Library. While we can't please all Rotarians all of the time, we really try to please some of the Rotarians some of the time. For the Rotarians who have told me, I love meeting here, I hate meeting here, this location is too far away from the office, The traffic is getting too heavy. The food was great. The food was awful. The food was too hot. The food was too cold. I couldn't hear the speaker. The speaker was too loud. I'm sorry, that's what you said when we met at the Lions Den. Now we hear, for those, I love the Baylor Club. I don't like the Baylor Club. It's too far, it's too close. Food's great, and you know the picture. Okay. Our next meeting is September the 11th at the Lee Lockwood Library. That is a Monday. Information, details, and directions will be mailed to you. You'll have plenty of reminders for those of you that show up at the Baylor Club on September the 11th. They're closed on Mondays, so we'll put a sign out. Come to Lee Lockwood. Please stand for the four-way test. Is it the truth?
It is very long concern. Will be the will of better friendships. Will be beneficial to all concerned.
Rotary is adjourned. Thank you.